Not been before. I make a lot of it. I find it a very attractive town. I suppose by calling it a town, yet it's almost a state. It makes it as kind of unique as it is. I've been to quite a lot of Mediterranean coastal towns, which are very interesting because of their proximity to the sea. And this has got quite a bit away from the sea. There's a certain kind of quality about, the way that the land rises up and how the structure of the city has been established by earlier architectural forms from different occupiers of this little piece of land. From the Moors, well, the Phoenicians, I understand were here before, but I can't see very much of that. But the wonderful Islamic architecture that rises up through the bastions, and how the Spanish and the French built on top of that, and the British subsequently. So through these sort of phases of warfare, really. What caught my eye from walking into the door of the first of the 4 or 5 vaults was the beauty of the spaces that the art was being hung in. The very, very professional way that everything was hung, which made everything look really quite good, and made me think that I was going to have a difficult task when I thought maybe I was going to have an easy task. But so there were lots of very interesting things that caught my eye, things that I thought were very competent, things that were good as art by professional artists. And I'm glad that I had 2 days to get to look at it and absorb it and evaluate my original observations.
And of course, being an artist yourself, you're going to see things in a different way to perhaps I am or anyone else who's watching this interview, and will be going down to see the work for themselves. So what jumps out at you? I believe you are a sculptor, but there weren't that many sculptures at this exhibition. Would you prefer there be more, or would they have caught your eye more than a painting, for example?
I was a little saddened that there weren't more sculptures. And it's interesting that one of the sculptures is actually the major prize winner. But it was unfortunate that there weren't more pieces, simply because I suppose it makes me feel that there aren't that many people making sculpture. Sculpture is very difficult to sort of also show in sort of mixed shows. I know this from being at the Royal Academy, that I suppose there's a greater priority given to painting and how it's hung on walls, and quite often the sculpture has to find a space on a floor in the gaps where the paintings are hung. But I feel that I have no great preference for sculpture, and my love of painting and art in general makes me feel suitably qualified to be able to make judgments about painting, sculpture, and whatever else might be presented to me as having quality or not.
And so we've had local as well as international artists competing for this exhibition. Impressed with what you saw, from wherever it came and whoever put it up? Because I imagine you didn't get to meet these people face to face. You were just judging the work that they did.
Absolutely. I've been totally ignorant of who actually made the work. There have been a couple who actually, I suppose, breached the rules because they had rather large and elaborate signatures, which often actually spoiled the balance of the paintings. But obviously they were more concerned about being realised who they were than, if you like, the work standing on its own. So I tried not to take any notice of those who might have wanted to let me know who they were, but I didn't know what nationality they were. I know that there's been a very, very good submission from, I think there were 1 or 2 English, I think a German, a Swiss, maybe French, I think, one, and quite a number of Spanish artists who work possibly within the southern Spanish area. But I think even the cultural department didn't necessarily have a clear idea of where a number of these artists had come from. And because of the non-existent selection process, I mean, everything that was submitted was hung, which is an amazing thing.